Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Hoping that doesn't sound creepy. Anyway, hi, my name's Lawrence Joss, and welcome to the Family Disappeared podcast. And happy holidays to everyone out there. And it can definitely be a challenging and difficult time. And I hope you're taking care of yourself and reaching out and joining some of our community activities that are going on or participating in the Family Hope Project or anything else that's going on. And today we have the second part of the Christmas panel conversation, which is just ridiculously powerful. I remember getting off the podcast taping and I was like just buzzing, like so many wonderful people talking about some really deep and intimate details of their lives, and also about hope and recovery and possibilities and creativity. So you do not want to miss this episode. Yeah, I've listened to it a couple times already. So please subscribe, like, leave reviews, comments. Get hold of us, familydisappeared@gmail.com, or you can hit the podcast crew link below and give us some information, participate in the show. We're looking for guests, for folks. We're looking for people from some more of the marginalized communities or other communities where there's not a lot of representation on the show. So if you're out of any of those communities, please contact us, and we'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to let you use our platform if that's appropriate for what you want to share. We'd love to elevate some voices that don't necessarily get elevated in this space. So stick around for the show. Let's get going. Wow. I'm laughing because I use the word wow a lot to lead into segments, but I'm thinking about Christmas. I'm taping this before Christmas, but you're actually getting to see this right after Christmas. And this Christmas, I'm going to be spending time with my sister and her husband and their couple of kids and some friends and hopefully some strangers. Hopefully we can invite some strangers and to come share in our joy. And we're going to be doing Christmas in Northern California this year, and maybe some snow and some different kinds of silliness. So I'm really, really excited for that. In the community, there's a lot of music and a lot of different activities going on that I'm not necessarily used to. I've always been in Southern California and was raised in South Africa, so I've never really been around the snow very much, except Big Bear or Tahoe or some certain holidays. So to actually be immersed in it for the holidays sounds really fun. And we're going to be silly and play games and wear silly socks, and I'm going to have to find something strange for everyone to do, and I'll definitely share pictures on that. And I'm excited to have you here. The second part of this podcast is ridiculous, so I'm going to stop talking and let's jump into that. Renee, I'm going to go to you. How do you think the kids and grandkids manage and feel during the holidays?
I think honestly, in the beginning, when all of this was first going on, thank goodness that wasn't on my radar, because I was already such a train wreck emotionally, physically, mentally. And if I would have added another layer of, wow, my kids are probably really hurting too, or really confused, I'm afraid it would have probably pushed me over the edge. But now that a great deal of time has passed in between, I would say, back then they were probably very confused. And I think there was a lot of celebratory things on their dad's side of the family. So it was that, hey, the more the merrier, party, party, party. And I think that probably allowed them to let that lie for a while. However, now that they're in their 30s, I think a couple of things have probably happened. And with my oldest son that I just saw last week, I can attest to the fact that in spite of what happened, in spite of the fact that I was in no way tuned into how my kids were feeling because I was so overwhelmed, they developed some coping tools of their own. Some of them probably healthy, some of them not so healthy. But they developed some coping mechanisms because you have to. Like, you can't just crawl into a hole and never come out. Life continues to go on. So having just seen my son last week, He's a pretty healthy kid at this point, and that gave me kind of a sense of relief. I think today he's got some good things in place to where he probably really enjoys the holidays. You know, they've had a long time to practice this whole situation of divorced mom and dad and remarried dad that you spend time with and other siblings in the picture. So I think at this point, they've probably adjusted as well as they can. At least that's my hope for them.
Thank you, Renee. And there's so much wisdom in what you're saying and life experience and watching your kids evolve and just having seen your son to be able to share that spectrum over a longer arch of time. I really appreciate your recovery and your words of wisdom. Thank you. I'm just going to check in with you again, Anna, if just listening sounds good to you, if there's something you would like to share too.
You know what? I don't know entirely. When I had to leave the family home, it was the beginning of December. So that first Christmas probably felt really weird. They were 14 and 12. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what I felt like other than I felt like I was in shock. So I, a little bit like Renee, I wasn't really checked in with how, I mean, I was worried about my kids, but I wasn't thinking so much about Christmas. Um, my sons are young adults now, and I imagine, again, like Renee, I imagine they've found ways to celebrate the holidays, to find some comfort, hopefully to be around some people that make them feel okay, allow them to celebrate if that's what they want to do. Um, Part of, I was listening to everyone's responses and thinking that part of my recovery is working through the reality that I really don't know what my kids feel like about a lot of things, and that's hurtful. It's good to say it out loud. It's the kind of thing I would probably share in a meeting too. Um, it's the reality, and I need to accept it. But I need to allow myself to grieve it as well, because I've missed them from the ages of 12 and 14. That's a huge. They're now 18 and 20. For me, that feels like a huge developmental stage that I've missed out on. So the fact that I can't put much of an answer to your question is hard, but I don't want to sit in that space of feeling sad about it either. Recovery teaches me that I want to work on accepting it. I want to wish them well. I hope that they're with people that make them feel comfortable. Um, and that feels a lot healthier to me. And now that I've had a chance to calm down from earlier on, it's just making me realize one of the things I wanted to talk about with these holiday episodes was that my gift to myself was going to be to allow me to sit in my feelings. So when I was upset earlier and I walked away, my inner critic is going, "Look at that! You've messed it up. You've ruined it for everyone." And I came back and sat and listened to you speaking and thinking, "No, I didn't, because this stuff is icky and I hate it and it makes me upset and I miss my kids." And I don't say that very often. And I'm allowed to feel upset about it. So that's the gift I want to give myself. And that's what I want to model for my kids. I don't want them to continue to grow up feeling like they have to stifle their emotions. So it's a long answer to your question, but
Thank you, Anna. And I just want to acknowledge the humanity and you showing up today and taking care of yourself and putting it on display for everyone. That takes a lot of courage. And you're teaching me so much in this moment. And I just want to let you know that I appreciate you and thank you for that. And from my perspective, I think my kids are doing fine during the holidays. I think they're taking care of themselves the best way they can and celebrating in a way that feels appropriate for them. And they're also living in their reality, and their reality is very different than mine, and both exist at the same time. It's a both and scenario. It's not an either or. We both have different experiences and both are okay. And like everyone else, has said, it's challenging and hard, and yeah, and it's real. That's really real. It's really real and really complex. So let's try switch gears and see if it works. The silliest, funniest memory or holiday, something that you used to do when the kids were younger. Is there something really silly and funny you used to do as a family? And when we're done answering this question, there's going to be something really special that I'm going to tell everyone, not even the people on the panel know. That's going to be fun. Okay. Anything really fun and silly. And let's start with you, Anna.
wow, anything fun or silly. Well, I live in Canada, so Christmas is it's often a white Christmas. There's snow on the ground, so once when the kids were younger, once we'd open presents in the morning, we would head to one of the local schools that had not a ski slope, but a slope where you could go sledding, tobogganing. And that was a real opportunity to get out in the fresh air. And I'm not a big fan of the snow. I'm not a skier. I don't, but I used to love hurling down the hill on a big inflated inner tube or on a skinny little thing where my knees were bumping and my back was bumping and just screaming in the kids' ears. And it was a great release. And they loved it too. They loved the adults sitting down with them and screaming and falling off and rolling in a heap in the snow. And it was a beautiful, beautiful connection and a nice, that's actually a really nice memory for me from Christmas.
Oh my God, that sounds so cool. I just see you giggling and laughing and falling off and bouncing back up again. Oh my Lord, what a wonderful picture in my head. Thank you for sharing that, Anna. And what about you, Gio?
Kids never really knew what they were going to get out of me because I usually just silliness, and that is either good or bad because I probably did some stupid things, but was all in the name of having some laughs with those kids. So that's that. So let's see. Well, I really enjoyed one of the things I really enjoyed doing is in Wisconsin. It's pretty cold, so the night before Christmas, one of the traditions that I would do is I would go outside and try to actually get some dirt out of the garden to bring into the house because I usually would stir up a little bowl of mud and dirt. And we had a white countertop in the kitchen, and I would literally put made up hooves through the house onto the counter. So when the kids would wake up in the morning, there would be dirt. And I was I'm going to say OCD about everything in its place and neat. They would wake up with like, how could this happen? There are reindeer hooves all over the counter. The cookies are gone. The carrots are on the floor. So that I just loved to be up before them and watch them come in, and there'd be this like, what happened here? So that was that always sticks out in my mind as just like a silly, magical. I mean, there are other things, but that really sticks out. Just the magic of them thinking like, how did these animals get in here? So yeah, keeping it fun.
I think I love you a little bit more, Gio, and I think it's a mic drop moment. I totally like the mud everywhere, and my Lord, that is funny. We need a video of that. Okay, of just the setup of you going, taking up the dirt, putting the piles everywhere, eating the cookies. That's what I want for Christmas, Gio. You know what I want for a Christmas present is I want that video. Renee, what about you? Funnest, silliest moments?
Well, it's kind of hard to follow those two. Those were pretty good. And really in that authenticity vein, holidays were very stressful because my children's father's family was very controlling. They were very large, and it wasn't an option to not go. And there was alienation of my family by them. We were always expected to be with them. And so, that and some of the drinking that was going on for me, it was a difficult time. But one thing that did come to mind was when my current husband and I and his son blended our families. This was before my boys went with their dad. So we're bringing 3 children together, and my current husband and I, we had different holiday traditions. And he had always let his son get up at like 1 or 2 in the morning and start opening his presents. And I was like, oh no, 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 no. We don't do that. And more importantly, I don't do that. I am not getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was irritated by it. I was like, this is ridiculous. He's 6 years old. I am not, But now in looking back, it is such an endearing moment. And I remember how cool my kids thought that was. Because normally it was like, you do not come in at the crack of dawn and wake us up. And then once we started this new blended family, now suddenly it's okay to go long before the crack of dawn and start opening your presents. So I have no doubt that they have really good memories about that period of time. Even though it was short, I'm sure that they remember how fun that was.
That sounds magical, Renee, and I love that. Like the resistance, like no, and then like, oh wow, what a wonderful memory that was. Like we think we know something, and then we experience something, we know we don't
Right.
know nothing. You know?
Right? Yeah.
Uh, that's awesome. So I'm thinking about two things. And the one thing is the first Christmas that I had my three daughters together, I got the Christmas tree and I had no decoration. So I went and raided their room and put up underwear and clothes on the Christmas tree. And I have a picture of that still. I gotta look for that. But that was really funny. But we had this holiday tradition that every Christmas we would open up Doug Funny. I don't know if any of your kids watch Doug Funny on TV, but he has a little Christmas book and it's the caroling song with all the different one thing means something, two means something, and we'd all sing it and everyone would have to take a chance reading a page. So that was good. Now for the surprise. So we are having a family hope project Christmas challenge. We have a challenge for you to draw a Christmas tree. And this Christmas tree can be a light bulb, and it can be a Christmas tree, and it can be a glass of water. It can be whatever comes to mind. Add a title and a description of what it means to you to celebrate Christmas. Maybe it's to not celebrate Christmas, but whatever that is, there's going to be a link in the chat for the Family Hope Project, and there's going to be an extra something we put in there for you to submit your art. And we are going to take the three most popular art pieces and we're going to feature them on the show so you can possibly become famous. So again, I just want to just circle back to PAA, the organization, and let you know about all the doors if you're new to us. We're talking a lot about Parental Alienation Anonymous, which is the free 12-step program. And there's 14 meetings a week with plenty of other meetings starting. Most of it's on Zoom, and there are some hopefully showing up in person. And it's a great place for community. And around the holidays, it's kind of like eating on the holidays. You know how you overeat on the holidays? The meetings are like that. They just swell during the holidays because there's a lot of pain and a lot of emotions, and especially after New Year's, there's just a big influx of people. So you're welcome in the rooms. It's a wonderfully loving, caring place. We have the podcast which you're listening to, and we also have the Family Hope Project, which I just mentioned, which is an education and advocacy platform. It's wonderful. There's a link for that in the show notes too. And we also have foundational trainings that hopefully will get started in January that will help you with communication, nonviolent communication, some meditation stuff, and some other resiliency trainings and family systems and all other kinds of stuff. So now that we're talking about recovery, when I talk about recovery, I want to be sure that I say recovery is the meetings, recovery is the Family Hope Project, recovery is listening to the podcast. Recovery is just working on yourself. It can mean whatever it means to you. There's no fixed definition here. How does recovery shape your holiday experiences? How does it grow for you during the holidays? And Geo, let's go with you first. How does recovery grow for you during the holidays?
Recovery is extremely important for me to be very mindful of and present and aware of and working during the holidays. This during the holidays is not the right time to think you need less meetings or put your our reading materials, you put it aside. No, I can't afford to do those things. Those are all key to me approaching and but walking through the holidays however I can experience it. So um, the awareness from the recovery helps me manage the emotions that are going to come up, whether I've got family here or if I choose to not have family. And I have two children. I have two stepchildren, and one of my stepdaughter and her husband, they have two kids, two littles. And so, yes, I get to be grandma. And so I am. And even though they're my steps, I get to be grandma. And um, I get to experiment with how I am showing up because, like I said, I am mindful of a legacy that I'm not only leaving to my kids with my recovery and my life. I am also um, showing up for these babies who are looking to me as a person who loves them in their life, and I get to choose how I want to show up in this new situation. And sometimes it is hard because the kids are small. You get these flashes of what it was like when your kids were that age. So I'm thinking on those things, and I do notice that I want to pull away sometimes because there's a bit of of scariness and pain because the memories are there. And because I am acting as an adult, I think I can show I'm learning how to in a healthy way show up so I can be who I need to be also. So I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, yeah, I heard you say more meetings, more reading, and trying to show up for your family and all the important relationships in your life. And I think you said like noticing that you want to pull away. Like that sounds like recovery to me. That sounds like a recovery muscle. Because I know early on I didn't notice anything. I just shut off and bailed. So I think that's awesome. And just yeah, like Grandma Geo, good for you. I'm beyond happy that you get into experience that, and you have your stepkids who sound wonderful and some grandkids. Well, what a neat thing. What a neat way to experience love during the holidays. Yay you, yay you.
Thank you. And it is a beautiful gift, and we have these beautiful gifts all around us if we just stop during all this pain. There are, and we talk about this in the program is gratitude. Like there is just a ton of gratitude all around us, and it's just can be really simple things. And so yeah, just to be mindful of these little things I get to be grateful for. Also, it just brings that softness as you walk into the holidays. So yeah.
Hmm. That's beautiful, Geo. Thank you so much. And Anna, same question for you. How does recovery shape your holiday experience?
Thanks, Lawrence. You know what? Today is a perfect example because originally, well, when I started getting really upset, I wanted to run. That's been my default position, right? But recovery is telling me to stay, and I feel so comfortable around you guys, and I need to honor my feelings. And I can feel myself planning for Christmas and running away. So I'll do this, no, I won't, I'll do that, no, I won't, I'll do this. And it's me trying to avoid the feelings. So what I want to do, what I'm going to do is reach out to people in community, people that understand the alienation piece and say, I might call you, I might not, but I need to know that, or I would like to know that you're there for me. I need to be vulnerable enough to say that instead of thinking, oh, I'll be fine, I'll be fine, I'll be fine. I need to actively do it because I spent the last 6, 7 Christmases doing exactly that, running away, being busy, immersing myself in other families, and that it served me at the time. But I really, again, when I was thinking about the questions for today, I need to honor my feelings and I need to feel some of the grief and also be aware that it won't all be grief. It doesn't have to all be sad, and I can have some fun times as well. But I need to show up for myself, and a big part of my recovery is acknowledging my feelings, and I don't want to run anymore. So it'll be going to meetings and it'll be supporting other people as well. But I really need to put my hand up and say, I need help, and I need to accept the help instead of doing the I'm fine, we're fine, everything's fine. I've done that for way too long. And I want to start over with my own Christmas traditions and holiday traditions and look forward instead of sitting in the past.
That's beautiful, and the vulnerability piece and asking for help, and that's a beautiful thing about community is you can ask, and just knowing that someone's on the other end of the telephone or the text that they're available is really, it's really life affirming, and I love that you're taking your life back, Anna. And what about you, Renee?
I have so many things running through my head because there have been so many Christmases and Thanksgivings that I haven't had my kids. And so thinking back about, what was it like 10 years ago? What was it like 15 years ago compared to today? And I'm really glad that Geo talked about gratitude because I'm married to someone now who is also in recovery. And a lot of our life, a huge part of our life is saying, oh my gosh, come look at this sunset. Oh my gosh, let's go for a bike ride. Look at this park. And I've gotten so used to being in that place, but I also need to be mindful of I can't live in gratitude all the time, that there are other things going on underneath. And so the way that recovery colors my holidays today is I really try to think outside the box. You know, let's say Thanksgiving is getting close and it looks like it's just going to be my husband and I might say to him, just off the cuff, you know what? I have never made a pecan pie. Would you like me to look up a recipe and make you a pie? You know, just always being open to whatever God puts in my path to help me get through this. And the other thing that comes to mind right away is no expectations. You know, what used to get me in trouble is for years and years and years, I would wait for that phone to ring, you know, for my kids to love me enough to tell me Merry Christmas or Happy Thanksgiving. And the calls never came. And today, you know, since I have been doing this for a while, it's really not on my radar. Honestly, today, if they would call and tell me Merry Christmas or even text me Merry Christmas, I'd be surprised. And I think that speaks to the fact that I am in the present moment. I'm not sitting there wondering, oh, I sure hope they're going to call me. My whole day depends on it. Today, my day depends on what I decide to focus on. And that's that gratitude piece that Geo was talking about. I'm so grateful to be where I am today, and I'm grateful for every difficult Thanksgiving and Christmas that brought me to this place, because today I get to decide how I'm going to address situations. If certain feelings come up, I can be in those feelings. But if they don't come up, that's okay too. I don't need to feel guilty for not being sad on Christmas Day. I'll wait and see what happens when the day gets here.
What a beautiful, wise answer, and just like the trajectory of recovery, because early on in recovery, those expectations, those ideas, those things that we so desperately want cripple us, really. At least they crippled me and suffocated me. And then gradually they started to change and gradually get more involved with different kind of things. And as Renee's talking about, gratitude's a huge part of it, and being able to be grateful for some of the things that we actually take for granted. I think, yeah, like we learned to strengthen our gratitude muscle in recovery, not by choice, but for survival, you know? So I'm just going to share a quick story about one of my first Christmases in recovery. My oldest daughter didn't talk to me for a year, and then we were together for a little while, and now it's been like 7 or 8 years. But I didn't have really family around, and I had this sponsor, and big dude, like 6'3", big goatee, you know, loud, and he used to drag me around to his family for Christmas, and I'd bring my two youngest daughters, and would show up at these people's houses that I'd never met before, and they'd have presents for us and Christmas trees and food, and then would go back to his house, and all this like magical stuff happened. And recovery to me is the possibilities of everything. And Renee touched on this, creativity. Like in the pain and in the early days, there's no space for anything. As you practice recovery, creativity becomes a possibility, and creativity just at least for me, it gives me space to breathe, you know. So I really appreciate so much, and so much wisdom is being said today by everyone. This is just a ridiculous show. I'm going to have to listen to it several times, but I'm going to wrap up with a final question here, and this is just each going to take a minute or so. What final thoughts do you want to share with people for the holidays, whether it's someone that might be in your position, a child, a neighbor, a puppy even? Like what is your message you'd like to share, just as we're checking out and saying goodbye for the day? So I'm going to start with you first, Renee.
It's funny that you say that, just as my husband lets my golden retriever in. You know, our pets have been a huge source of joy for us. We take family pictures with them at the holidays. I refer to them as our son and daughter. We have a male and a female. And, you know, when something happens, I'll say to my husband, well, he's probably the best son you've ever had. Or, oh, she's the best daughter I've ever had. And, you know, just having joy and fun in the moment. This is hard stuff, but I can't let it drag me down. So I've learned over these years to really think outside the box. You know, I shared in the last podcast that I had a really good friend that wanted us to take our leftovers and deliver them to the homeless. So that was one of the first times that I learned that I can wallow in my self-pity, or I can get out of myself and be of service to someone else, whether it be one of my pets, whether it be another person that isn't anything as close to as fortunate as I am. Or I can reach out to someone else in PAA on Christmas Day and say, hey, Anna, I was thinking of you today. I hope something wonderful happens for you. Um, just being as positive as I possibly can, um, in trying to think of other people. When I'm in my own stuff, all I can think about, like my walls are right here, all I can think of is, how does Renee feel? How does Renee feel about how she is in this moment? But if I can get out of me and think about Lawrence or Geo or Anna or someone else besides myself, it always makes me feel better 100% of the time.
Well, thank you, Renee, and you touched on a really poignant point, about love and our animals, and there might be a friend and it might be a neighbor, but just that abundance of love that we have to share as parents, grandparents, children, anyone that's struggling with any of this family pathology, like we still get to share that love, and yeah, like my dogs are incredibly important and such a source of a reciprocal love, and healthy mirroring, like they're just happy, they're always happy with me. Can't beat that. Like no one's always happy with me. Okay. Anna, you are up next.
Thank you, Lawrence. Two things coming up for me. One is, or that I spoke to before too, is don't be alone. Like try and be around people or friends that get you, so will support you in however you need to be. So you're not suppressing your feelings. If you need to go out to do something fun, you can do that. If you need to sit on the sofa snuggled up watching a movie, you can do that. Because being alone, certainly for me, has not been healthy. It's not good. And then I sit in my feelings and my thoughts too much and I ruminate. And as I say that, it leads into the second piece, and people have reminded me of this. And I think it's probably true. As much as I don't know how my kids feel at the moment, I do still feel connected to them. I do feel that they love me. And I don't think that they want me to be sad around the holidays. They don't want me to be missing out. They would want, the same as I was want for them, they would want me to be authentic and genuine, but be around people that love you. And I really, the more I walk this path, the more I think that and I feel that. And of course, I do want the same thing for them. So I have had celebration times in the past where I thought, well, my kids won't be having a good time, so I'm going to hunker down and just suck it up, and this sucks and everything's miserable. I don't actually think that they want that, and I don't want that for them. So it's an interesting piece to reflect on around the holidays too, I think.
Mm. Yeah, again, a poignant thought and a whole different conversation. But yeah, I'm with you, and I think their kids really want us to be happy and enjoy myself and enjoy ourselves. So I think, yeah, I think that is a great thing for any of us to reflect on. Is like, yeah, and I believe that in our joy, that they're experiencing our joy too. And I know we've spoken about that, Anna, about like connecting emotionally and spiritually, even though we're not in physical proximity with the kids, that just practicing those positive intentions has a direct influence and effect on them. Thank you, Anna. Geo.
Yeah, thank you. So listening to Anna and Renee, there, I would have to agree. You've got to get out of yourself. You've got to put, um, have concern about how you're walking through the holidays and whatnot. But for me, I am like all in when it comes to like people. Put me around people. Um, I want to see people laugh. I want to be silly. I have got better at laughing at myself. That also helps because, I don't want to walk through my life. I have a choice. I can either choose to surround myself in love and joy, or I can just, don't get me wrong. I have discovered I used to hate to be alone. I do love my alone time, but I don't want to sit there. I can do it for a little while, but have joy. Try something new. Step out of your comfort zone. Get out of your box. Try something you've never done before. If I could sign up to be on Dancing with the Stars, bam, I'd be there, because at this point in my life, after all the things that I did to be so, I had a bit of a rough road. So now the next half, I want to light it up a little bit. So if, just step out there, try some things. And, I'm thinking of, when my kids were little, even, to teach them to get, take the focus off of, what are you going to get? What are you doing? What toys are you going to get? We would actually do these shoebox gifts, and we would go shopping, and whatever you could fit in a shoebox. And we'd bring these shoeboxes to a church that had this program, and they would send them all over the world. Like, go to a soup kitchen, serve some people, anything, just get out of yourself. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Gio. I love that. I love the idea of the shoebox. Like whatever you fit in there and you do a service and you pass it on. I love that. And I will just say to anyone out there that's listening to the show, be kind to yourself. Be patient. Like nothing's not this is slow. You know what I mean? Be kind, be patient, connect with people, and also forgive yourself. You know what I mean? Like this is an imperfect world and we're imperfect human beings trying to be the best possible version of ourselves and yeah, and celebrate. And remember to laugh, remember to celebrate. And that's what we have. So ladies, thank you for coming out and playing and maybe tearing up a little bit and everything in between that happened for you all. I really, really appreciate you. I know for a fact you're all ninjas and superstars, and I just wanted to tell the rest of the world that. And now that that's out of the way, I'd say goodbye and happy holidays.
Thanks, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Happy, happy. So you need to comment and let me know if this was the most powerful show we've had so far. Because for me, by far, these two episodes just buzzed me out and brought up so many different things. And maybe it's a mixture of the episode and the holidays, but there's so much emotion running through my body and so much gratitude that I have a community, right? Because I don't have anyone else to have these conversations with in a meaningful way that can understand what I'm feeling and also that are working on their own interpersonal relationship with themselves and talking about it through a recovery lens. It's just it's mind blowing. It's just such an honor to be part of this community and part of this journey and part of this experiment, and everything we're doing is an experiment. We're just trying to put something out there that's useful and waiting to see if it's received in that way or not. So thank you. Happy holidays. Please remember to subscribe. Remember, there's going to be a link in the show notes for the Christmas tree challenge, for the Family Hope Project, where you're going to draw whatever feels appropriate to you to represent a Christmas tree. And it could be a face of someone you know, and put a title to it and a description. And we're going to pick out the top three and we're going to have them on the show, and maybe we'll even get to talk to the folks that are going to submit them anonymously or any other way, and all the submissions are anonymous, so you don't have to worry about that. And there'll be a link in the show notes for the Parental Alienation Anonymous support groups. Get to a meeting if you're looking for some relief, if you're looking for some community. Man, it saves my life. And during the holidays, man, I'm at 5-6 meetings a week. That's what I need. That's what my vitamin C dosage looks like during the holidays. And the Family Hope Project link is in the chat. Submit art, whether it's the Christmas tree stuff or the challenge or anything else that you want to do. There's a link for the Facebook groups for all the different parts of our organization and a bunch of other interesting stuff. And thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening thank you for listening to the podcast. And we love you and we hope to see you around a room or a podcast or a different door or whatever that looks like. And please remember to click on the link below for donations. We are a 501c3 nonprofit and we have just started fundraising, and this next layer of services we're going to offer is going to be phenomenal, but unfortunately we cannot do that without funds. And we're hoping that launches in January. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the holidays and a happy and safe New Year's. And we will see you in a room soon, or a Zoom room soon, or a radio podcast, something room, whatever that's called. Okay, enough out of me. Bye bye.